Well, hi there everyone. My name's Martin Dunkley. I'm the senior leader of Tees Valley Community Church, and I'd like just to take 4 or 5 minutes to talk to you about our Sunday morning gatherings over the next months, particularly in the light of the government's plan to remove all restrictions on the 19th of July. Actually, we had already made a decision back in early June that our August services would take a different form, that they would be online, not in person, at the Oakwood during the 5 Sundays of August, and that our gathering together in person would take the form of a church picnic following those services. You probably aren't aware, but to run the various teams that serve us takes over 40 people serving on any given Sunday. A secondary effect of the pandemic and lockdown over the last 18 months is that many of those people who've been working extremely hard for us on those teams under particularly challenging circumstances are in need of a rest and a break, and many of them are actually heading away on holiday for August. And so as we looked at how many people were available to serve on those teams on any given Sunday within August, it became apparent that running a live service and continuing to stream online was logistically a real stretch and at some points near on impossible. And so we made the decision back in early June that our services and gatherings over August would take a different form. We have actually almost completed recording what will be 5 outstanding services for those Sundays. We have some new faces preaching for you, and we have an exciting 5-week teaching series entitled We Have Hope. I was present for 3 of those talks being recorded, and they were absolutely brilliant. I was personally very inspired. So I want to encourage you. August is not going to be a time of simply treading water. If you give yourself to those Sunday services online, and where you can, take the opportunity to picnic with us in the park afterwards, I believe August will be both refreshing and inspiring in terms in God for us as a church over that month. So I'm looking forward to it, and I trust you are as well. So that leaves only one Sunday before September, the 25th of July, when we will gather in the context of the government removing all restrictions. You obviously appreciate that while the government is planning to remove all restrictions, it's also encouraging us to exercise a measure of ongoing responsibility and caution, especially in the light of the exponentially rising number of Delta cases and a significant proportion of the population not having been doubly vaccinated. It has in fact given to businesses and organisations like churches both the right and the responsibility to decide their own policies in view of their particular unique settings and risk factors. That's a responsibility I'm personally, as you'd expect, taking very seriously as I look to lead us forward as a church through this time. So I'm making decisions in terms of how we gather and move forward in conjunction with a team of medical advisors, a number of the church elders, and all the directors of the church as a charity who are legally responsible for the church's health and safety policies. But of course you'll appreciate any decisions that are being made are also being made very prayerfully, with due care and consideration for our church community as a whole. And that means with consideration for both the strong and the weak, for the robust and the more vulnerable amongst us. And you'll appreciate there are a whole range of feelings and responses, even within our church community, let alone wider, when it comes to what people might be comfortable with at this time in the COVID pandemic. So however we move forward, I'm underlining the fact that we want to do so with due care and consideration for everyone. I do think 1 Corinthians 8 is a very apt directive from the Bible to us at this time as Christians, and I want to encourage you to read it. Read 1 Corinthians 8 for yourselves. It's a chapter that's dealing with food sacrificed to idols, but it's a chapter within which the believer is encouraged not to exercise their rights without due care and consideration for others, in particular without due care and consideration for those that might in some way be weaker. Paul finishes that chapter by saying, I have the right to eat meat, but if it adversely impacts others who are weaker in their faith and conscience, then he says, then I will never eat meat again. And of course, it's not a chapter on going vegan. It's a chapter which encourages us not to exercise our rights without being thoughtful and considerate of the impact on others around us who might, because of particular weaknesses, not see it or feel it the same way as us. In the context of what is likely to be a time of strongly polarised views within our nation over the coming weeks, polarised around the issues of people's personal rights versus their personal responsibilities towards others, can I call you, as God's people, into something higher than that? Can I call you into something that is thoroughly biblical and something I think profoundly expresses the love of God to others at this time? Can I suggest this, that whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever decisions we personally make, that we do it all with a sense of love, care and consideration towards others, thinking of those amongst us who might feel vulnerable. There is a great opportunity for us over the coming months to reflect something biblical and Christ-like to one another and to the world in how we personally conduct ourselves. Let's make sure that taking that opportunity becomes our highest goal, even if we have to pay some personal cost in terms of our rights in the process. So coming back to the 25th of July, we're not going to implement any wholesale changes for that particular Sunday. So you will need to continue to book in online to come to the service. You will also need to wear a face mask at the service, and you'll be shown to your seat and be socially distanced from one another. This is an indoor venue at the Oakwood that gathers a crowd of people, so we continue to believe at the current time that this is the appropriate and sensible way to gather. However, we do want to take a significant step forward in helping you to engage in the meeting. So we are going to allow you to sing, but the singing will obviously need to occur behind our masks. Not everyone will want to sing, which is fine, but for those that do, it will be an opportunity to engage in the worship more than we have to date been allowed to do. Both myself and the other medics that I've been consulting don't think that will increase the risk inappropriately for us, particularly as we will remain socially distanced at 2 metres, though we may ask you to be of moderate volume. So when it comes to our gatherings in September, what form will they take? Well, we will review things towards the end of August when we will have a clearer picture of what's happening with the pandemic and with the vaccination programme. And from that vantage point, we will be able to make decisions from a more informed basis. But can I say this to finish? In terms of my personal faith and vision for the autumn, I do feel a sense of faith for that coming season. I do feel the autumn is going to be a season of coming back together, a new season of gathering together, of reconnecting, a time to revitalise with the life of God our sense of faith, family and community together. So I do see the autumn as a time to move forward. At what pace we do that and what form that takes, we will have to see. But we will do it with a sense of faith and wisdom in a way that takes all of us together, the strong and the weak, to the place God wants us to journey to with him. And whatever that journey looks like, whatever challenging junction points we come up against on that journey, we can be assured of this. God will journey with us. He will lead us, guide us and protect us, and ultimately bring us into a very good and spacious place together. God bless you.